Alrighty. Hello everybody. This is Kirusho here, and before I do get started, I do want to say something. Now, I spoke with Blaze, and Blaze, he is going to be doing a few of his other projects before we do continue this game of tag. Now, I do want to say that round 1 is over, and Blaze has tagged me back for this series. What if Deku had the Deathdealing? Now, he tagged me for an anime power, and as many people do probably know, I don't really focus on a lot of anime stuff. I've done some anime stuff on my channel, but it's still hit or miss for me. And that's kind of ironic, because I do make what ifs about an anime. I do need to start catching back up. But anyways, with that little tangent aside, this one certainly is an interesting ability, because it's not really one I've heard of before. Well, he told me it. Now, I had ideas for how this story could potentially go, and I do know that this particular character, he is actually very strong in his universe after looking into his abilities a little bit more. Even Blaze himself told me that this guy is not someone to really joke around with, even though he didn't really have the drive to be a threat. Well, at least not the way he was portrayed. If he wanted to be a problem, he would have. And that type of character is one I do kind of enjoy. Now then, with that being said, let me begin. We will start with Izuku Midoriya. Deku, whenever he was at the age of 4 years old, he was diagnosed with a quirk. And this, he was excited by. Like any kid, he was curious to know what he could do, what exactly his powers were. And the doctor, yeah, they were quite excited to know a little bit more about Deku's particular power. They ran some tests and found interesting things to it, and they weren't really too sure how to go about this. I mean, this is odd. And after even trying to get more tests from Mizuku, they wanted to know more. I mean, from what they're seeing, Deku has a very potent ability, and that had them concerned. When they came back to Inko with the information, she was quite alarmed to hear that her son has an ability that is dealt with poison, along with the fact that he's just very abnormal. His quirk is stronger than most children, and that it does have them a little concerned. If Deku has an ability that is this dangerous, they need to do more tests and find out more about it. And Inko, she did understand. Having her son come to the hospital a few times a day, it was worrying her. They just wanted to find out more about this. And after Deku started to be able to use his quirk, they figured it out. They told him how to go about this. And this did have Deku a little bit more concerned. He wanted to be a pro. Even the doctors certainly knew he could be a good pro. But one even told him about expressing caution with his powers. And Bakugo, whenever Deku came back to school, was quite surprised to see him. Though whenever the teachers expressed that Izuku's ability was specialized, this brought some attention back to him. People wanted to hear more, and all Deku could really tell them was that his ability was a little bit more than he expected. He tried to keep it a bit more low-key, but Bakugo, he tried to push Izuku. He wanted to know more. And Deku, whenever he pushed back, Bakugo certainly was not ready for it. And we do have, at the age of 14, Deku does sit there in class, as he does have a lot going through his mind. Currently, him sitting there, writing in his notebook and wondering about a few things before he does get a pull back and look at his dietary regiment. Hmm. Okay. But if he does start including fish into his diet, how many people usually do eat fish? Okay. Hmm. There's already the idea for other materials. Doctors were concerned, but ugh, maybe you should add caffeine. Okay, he's definitely gonna put caffeine here, but above protein. No, most people eat protein, but sugar? No. People are always consuming sugar, especially nowadays. Although the occasional sweet isn't bad, but okay, that one might be higher on the list. Coffee? Hmm, that falls under caffeine, so maybe. What are the things that he add? Sugar, protein. Hmm, okay. Think about this a little bit more. They go looking up when the teacher does get to call his name once again, asking exactly if Mr. Midoriya heard him. Hmm? Sorry, I was a little busy. We do understand. But as I said before, just now, you and Mr. Kotsky are going to be going to UA, trying out. Many people here should know. These two may have a very good chance of getting into UA. And, well, I do have to say our own Izuku Midoriya, he was going to be going under recommendation. Though, we haven't gotten any word back. Deku going to turn. Before he does see Bakugo, who does stare at him before the teacher does talk about it. Alright then. Well, that does wrap everything up. I'll let them go a bit early today, especially because right now he's got a lot to do. Going to turn, telling them all to have a good summer. And Deku, he has a stand before Bakugo is to walk over to him and ask, exactly what might they be doing today? Not much. I need to do a few other things. Maybe go to the store, get some shopping done. My mom's teaching me this one recipe, and I know it's gonna be really good. Jeez. You're always cooking something, aren't you? Can you blame me? I mean, I don't know. She was gonna try and show me this one recipe that has something interesting. Plus, it's actually kind of good for her. She's really happy about it. Right. How is your mom doing, though? She's alright. Though, I think my dad might be coming back from overseas. I heard something about it the other day, but he might have found something here. Really? Yeah, not much. She's talking to him about it all. But, should we go? I'm gonna nod. We're walking past, talking about how he's gonna go to the mall today. A few things are gonna be keeping him busy, so they might not be able to hang out. Though tomorrow? Definitely. The two going to walk out of class and school. Before they depart ways and Deku does get a walk down the road. Currently, him putting his headphone in as he is at a walk, wondering about what else to pick up, what else to try. Training his power has been difficult. Trying to understand more about it, it's definitely been a little helpful. But trying to just activate it, that's the easiest part. Consume. Consume. That's what he's gonna do. Okay. But it shall be fine. With a recommendation to UA, all he has to do is make sure to keep up his training. Make sure he'll be okay and then move on. If that's that, then getting in there will be a breeze. Go to the hero course and prove he can be a hero. Maybe this is the start of a good story. Inspiring. Nice. The cool, laid back hero who could solve any problem by just using his voice. It's cool. He just, he likes his quirk. He doesn't know why people are afraid of it. And that, it does go through his mind. Before Deku does go to the store and begin to pick a few things up. Currently, him paying as he's a leave. For his turn, sing a man. Currently stepping in and with a hostage. And Izuku, he does it to freeze immediately. The basket in his hand, going to sit there. Before he does gotta look down and stare at something. Wondering, looking back up, if the man is more dangerous than he has perceived. And the man, he is going to shout orders, yelling at all of them about what to do. Since a second man coming in, they are in a bit of an what? The man turning to his self as he has to talk about it. There's no one behind them. They're fine. Though they've got to deal with this chick. Just quit squirming. The man holding the girl in place. And Deku does stare at her. Her uniform, it does look a little, well, torn. Though it does look a little familiar as well. And he does stand there. For everyone, they do begin to do what they're told, setting down whatever they're holding and putting their hands up. And there's where one of the men do turn to Izuku. Them looking away from the door, for they do get split into two. A third man going to form. And Deku does stare at that ability, realizing these are all the same guy. And then one person is to stare at the door before they return, pulling a second gun from their belt and holding it up to their copy. And that Deku does get to focus on, turning to the man with the hostage. Before that man does a turn to him, holding the weapon out, expressing for him to put his shit down and to put his hands up. Does he get it? Right now, they're not playing. And Deku does stare at the man, for he does slowly put his items down and stand up, telling him, okay, just don't hurt anybody. I'll do whatever I want. Now just listen to me on the ground. You gonna listen? No. Excuse me? Do what he says. You're gonna be okay. Who are you? I'm not giving you my fucking name. Do you think I'm stupid? Is that what you asked? Do I look crazy to you? Come on. I'd like an answer. Deku going to put his hands up and step forwards, telling the man, no, he never said that. Though if he does want a hostage, he'll be the hostage. What do you mean? Deku a little curious, a little bit more intrigued. This guy's a villain, a genuine villain. Holy crap, so many of his notes. I mean, running into a villain, meeting one here at the store, it's today of all days. Okay, this is the perfect excuse to use his ability. And it's to save a cute girl. Okay. Theory, no. The doctor said that one was a little weird, but okay. Ignoring what they said, right. They still don't know much about his quirk. Deku expressing to the man, telling him, 400 milligrams. That is currently the lethal dosage of caffeine. And the man does stare at Deku, him confused. For Deku's ability, it does go to activate, and the person, they do begin to feel strange. Deku watching on. Before he has to tell them, okay, he's gonna make this quite simple. The person going to stumble backwards before they do get a turn. And Deku does start watching on. Before the man, he does a spin. The copy's gonna turn and look around the store. And Deku, he does go to stare at them. As he does, go to watch as one of the other copies, they do begin to split off. And this does alarm him. His ability turning the caffeine in their body into poison. And Izuku, he has a stare on. For he has a turn and go to try and tackle the man. The gun flying from their hands as does it go off. And Izuku, he has to pin them to the ground. Before he does go to turn and go to move quickly. Him going to rush at the second copy that does have a firearm. And it is a turn firing towards Izuku. Before he does go to avoid the attack and smash into them. Before he does take them down. Turning and going to grab the weapon. Before he's a sight away from the man and turn to the third one. As they do to collapse holding onto their chest. And Deku does begin to stare at that. Before he does gonna run over and bend down. Grabbing the man as he is beginning to go into shock. And he does start to foam at the mouth. And Deku, he does stare at this. Before he does try to adjust the limit of his poison again. Currently, him turning and shouting for help. And someone, they've already called the police. They've already called emergency services. But it wasn't because of the reason Izuku thought. The moment he turned, he looked into the store, and he saw that a man was shot. A man was hurt. The woman with him, they were clutching onto him, trying to calm him down and keep him steady. And whenever the police arrived, they found the scene. Deku clutching onto the man who was here. They found the weapons. They found that two of them were discharged. And this, it worried them. Whenever the man was seen to be injured, they had the ambulance already here. Though he passed on scene, it wasn't good. And when the police started to investigate, there was where fingers were pointed at Deku. He was a young 14-year-old boy, and he managed to take out a man who committed a crime. But in doing so, someone was killed, and the person he tried to take down, they died of poisoning. This just did not make sense to them. Though whenever they heard about Deku describing and trying to explain his quirk, they were half confused. Deku tried to explain to them what he was doing, though he did also inform them about the factor he was not aware of. He tried to use his powers, and the man, he was clearly on something, though he thinks that he can tell them. He had too much caffeine, and that they're not buying. The idea that this kid used his quirk and gave this guy some lethal dose of poison through just caffeine. There are weirder things they've heard, but this is just it. The weirdest thing. And they do take Izuku in. He is questioned about it. And when police do go to let him go, Deku, he does return home. It was deemed that this was a case of self-defense. However, with how things are currently looking for him, the woman who lost her husband, she doesn't press charges. And Deku, whenever he went back to school after summer, people, they saw him. Though they viewed him a little bit differently. He lost that scholarship to UA. He lost that recommendation. People were looking at him funny. And even Bakugo tried to distance himself a bit from him. People were just looking at him differently. And then someone in his school called him a killer. I mean, that hurt. People already started looking at him differently around town. They know his face. And he can't go to a hero school. He lost that ability. The hero committee sent him something in the mail. And it was a notice. It's not recommended that Deku try out for a hero school. They've blacklisted him. And that was a shot directly to his heart. This was something that he wanted for a long time. The idea to go out there and show his worth. Show that this power can be used for good. All that training, all that effort, all that time just felt wasted. And that hurt Deku. He felt dejected. And he had to try and go on with his life. Living with what he did and this weight on his shoulders. Though that was another thing entirely. And we do currently have in the future. Where Izuku, he is dealing with another issue. Right now he just stand there in the air, looking down at a lot of people, before he's to bring something up and go to put the plunger directly into his neck, forcing it down before he does, gonna feel his eyes go wide, them shooting open before he has to look down, currently pulling the needle from his neck and going to drop it, before he does go to express to a lot of people about what is going to currently happen, before he does come flying down and flying fast. Currently, him smashing down as Mirako, she's gonna fly backwards and dodge. Hawks bring his feathers up and sending them at Deku, who is to turn and throw his hands up. Currently, him going to fire a ball at Hawks. And Hawks, he does try to move. Deku going to quickly move and go to step forwards. Before he has to throw his fist out and smack Hawks directly in the gut. Him being sent flying backwards as Deku's a turn. Currently going to see Endeavor, who does go to step forwards and step out. Currently him holding up his damaged arm. Aware that the way things have been going, it doesn't look good. And Izuku, he does stare at that, before he does to alter the conditions of this fight once more, telling them all that right now, 10 minutes is how much their bodies will be able to withstand the oxygen they're breathing. And Endeavor does stare at Deku, who does go to smile, for he's moving quickly in step. Currently, he's going to move and bring his hands up, as he's to create his weapons and fire at Endeavor. Currently, the arrow flying through his Endeavor, he has a dodge and fly up in the air with a booster. Currently, him moving down and towards Izuku, as Deku is to throw himself forwards at high speeds. And Endeavor, he does go to throw his hand up and get ready, before he is to send a powerful attack towards Deku. And Deku, he does it a countdown more in his mind. 5, 4, look at his hand, beginning to create a gift ball. 3, 2, and Endeavor's attack, it does go to land, as Deku does count down when the strike hits his face. 1. And he does go to watch his Endeavor is sent flying backwards. Currently, Izuku standing there, as the damage, it does begin to compound onto him. And he does not fall forwards for a second, trying to regain his breath. Looking up to see Endeavor, who does lay on the ground, as he does drop his gift ball and turn. People, beginning to watch his Deku, he does even have that damage on his body start to heal. And right now, he has a look at a few of the other heroes, begin to step forwards and take out the ones who might still be a threat. And with that being said, I do hope you guys enjoyed. And have an amazing day. I'll catch you guys in the next part. Or in the next one, I mean.